So I rented a houseboat from Airbnb in the Florida Keys. It was in Isla Mirada. This map shows where it was at. That's actually me in the blue dot on the boat. And this shows where it is on the map, about a third of the way down through the Keys. The owner of the Airbnb told me to park at this marina to meet her, and she would take me out to the boat on a little dinghy, because the boat's anchored about a mile out on the water. It's not on shore. It's not like on a dock. And as usual, I'm always early. I got there early, so I was walking around looking at the marina, looking at the boats and the signs and the palm trees. I love palm trees. And I'm looking at all these boats and thinking, wow, this place is like a paradise. And just imagine all these people, these are their toys. All these people get to play in this paradise down here. The pictures don't even do it justice. You would have to see the place, and I'm probably going to say that many times more in this video. But the place is just incredible. And it's filled with these little nooks and crannies where they make a little harbor here, all over the place. But they have lots of these little islands. They're not inhabited. I just love it. Just so awesome. And here coming up, that's actually a picture. That's the marina that I was supposed to meet her at. And jump to the boat. This is inside, looking out the kitchen. And up forward by the bed, looking to the front. That's the bed. That's the captain. And this is what my view was from the back of the boat. It was just, I keep saying this, it was just an amazing place. It is probably, as far as the beach, and well, actually there's no beach, but I'll get to that later. But as far as the ocean and the kinds of fishing that's available here, this is the most incredible place I've seen in America. It's just mind-blowing how awesome it is. There were lobster below my boat, fish all over the place. And the boat, it was something else. It looks like a lake here, but when you're there, it doesn't look like a lake. You feel like you're out on the ocean. You know, it had a bathroom and a kitchen, had a shower, had water, it had electricity, it had Wi-Fi even. The toilet, it was not bad. There was nothing wrong with it. It was not hard to use. It didn't smell. It's a composting toilet. You got to kind of get used to that. But in this case, the toilet set up a little high, so I kind of felt like I was on a stool. But it worked. There was no problems, no issues with it. And the bed was up front, where the steering cabin is. The windows, they were easy to open up, and they were actually hard to get sealed closed. The wind never stops. It blows all the time, 24/7. So no matter what, you're going to get a little bit of a breeze, even when you were in bed. When I was in bed, I did. I loved it. The weather was absolutely perfect. It was January, but I think the coldest it got at night was about 60. And here, this is the first night I got there when the sun started going down. I looked outside and I was like, oh my gosh. So I went outside to get the sunset and just do a 360 around the boat. And this was my view the first night. I just couldn't believe it. The colors in the sky, I was just stunned. And, you know, I look at the video now and it's beautiful, but maybe it's because I remember being there. Look at the golden light on the boat. The other boats all anchored around me. Those are just mangrove islands. There's nothing on them. There was no road or anything. The road is all to the left of the sun. Just mind-blowing. I love the place. The first night I was just enchanted sitting there looking at the sunset and the colors after the sun went down. It looked fake. It was like something from a movie. I couldn't believe I was blessed enough to be there. And this strip of lights that you see, that's the little strip of land that is the island of Isla Mirada. That's the only place that there were buildings or businesses or houses. At night, it's the only place you could see with lights on it. But what was really cool to me is at 10 o'clock, everything shuts down. The bars shut down. Well, they may still be open, but suddenly the music is gone. The lights are all off. The whole place, I couldn't believe how suddenly quiet it got, because I'm only maybe a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile from the land there. and I could clearly hear all the music from the bars. And I mean, there weren't that many bars, but you could still hear them. But suddenly at 10 o'clock, it was like I flipped a switch. So whoever's running this town is very smart, because I wanted peace. I'm sure everybody else wants peace and quiet at night. It was a really nice surprise to see that. I loved it. So every night, sit on the boat. There's no traffic around you. There are no people around you. The closest person anchored to me was, you can't even see the boat in the picture, hundreds of yards away. So this was the ultimate privacy. And every morning was almost as beautiful as the sun sets at night. There was, I put the shades down, but there's no keeping the sun out. And you can see the shade blowing in the wind. The breeze is nonstop. It feels good. You're not cold. It's not a cold place. It's a beautiful place to wake up. And there's a special feeling when you wake up in the morning and you are at the same temperature as the ambient air. The breeze is blowing, and it's a magical place. You're about to start again. I miss it already. I can't wait to get back. One of the most beautiful things that happened to me, I was standing on the side of the boat, and a manatee swam by. I was just so wowed. Just a giant smile on my face. I was hoping I would see one when I was down there, and here he is. So cool. In just a second. It wasn't as big of a one as I see on the biggest ones I see on TV. Here, he'll come up for air. There it is. Look at that. Oh, wow. That was just so cool to me. And he swam off. He didn't stop. I was hoping he would come back, but he didn't. And while I was looking around the boat, the water was only about 6 feet deep around the boat. So there was something on the bottom, and I scooped it up, and it's this, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a sponge. I don't think it's a sponge unless I guess it could be. I don't know every species of sponge. It's kind of soft and like a hard gelatin. There are things growing on it, like other coral-looking things. It had what appeared to be hairs coming out of some spots. And right here I could see there's paint stuck to it. So it looks like it was stuck to the side of someone's boat. It might have even been stuck to the side of my boat. I don't know. You can see where it's really colorful. These little, I guess they're coral or all those different things. Those are some kind of creatures. It had a lot of living things on it. It was living. It smelled kind of like cheese. It smelled good, actually. Of course, I didn't eat it, but it was very odd. And there were other ones. You can see, look, you can see how clear the water is. It wasn't very deep. Like I said, maybe 6 feet. So even if the boat sank, you could stand on top of it. But that was another really weird feeling that I had, was staying out on the water for the first time, because I hadn't slept on the water before. But the water is just full of sand and seagrass. Absolutely beautiful. And it's maybe hard for you to see. This is a little baby sailfish. He swam around my boat for hours just playing with me, and I was trying to catch him with a little tiny hook, and he would go for the bait, but their mouths are so small, I couldn't hook him. He was maybe, I would say, maybe 15 to 18 inches long. Just a beautiful fish. He looked like he almost glowed, this blue and green colors. He was just fascinating to watch. Again, this place is it's just absolutely beautiful. Don't pass up a chance to go there. The wildlife around the boat, I was surprised how much there was. I fished all the time, all day and all night. It was just nonstop. It was incredible how many fish I caught. And these fish that I caught at night, well, I caught them in the day too. That snapper, they were delicious. Have you ever had uni? Well, I've had uni in sushi places. It was really gross, really disgusting, but I'll eat anything. I'll try anything. It was so awful I couldn't keep eating it. But I found a bunch of sea urchin all around underneath my boat. So I caught some of them, and I was going to see if there was anything inside that I could eat like uni. And watch this. Cut one in half. I don't know what that is. But there's no way in the world I'm going to eat that. That's gross. I had it once in a restaurant. It was disgusting. I might keep that. I don't know what it is. One really important thing to me, as you can see from this video, this was normal. Every day and every night was like this. The water was calm as glass. There were no waves. The only waves I would ever feel is if a boat went by in the channel, which was a couple hundred yards away, you would feel little waves lap on the boat. But there's no waves. It was inside Florida Bay. So there's no seasickness. I was worried about that. I go deep sea fishing, but I've gotten seasick before. There was no issue with it. I would say this: get a boat if you go to Florida. If you're going to the Keys, I mean, definitely the Airbnb was just a dream way for me to go. But the Keys don't really have beaches. I mean, they may have some small beaches, but there aren't beaches like you think of in mainland Florida or anywhere else in the U.S. So you really have to have a boat or some access to the water. The islands are so small, the hotels are right on the water, but they don't all have access like you think. And it's not like if you go to Cancun or Miami, where or Florida or Lauderdale, where you get a hotel and go out on the beach. There aren't really beaches. So like I said, make sure you get a boat. And this was the perfect way. I think it was $160 a night. It's probably more by now. This was a couple of years ago. But $160 is nothing because that's your hotel and your access to the water. It came with the little dinghy that had the motor on it, but it also came with a kayak, a fishing kayak, and a wakeboard. And it was, looking back, I should have used the kayak more. If I go back there again, I will be fishing on the kayak. I've since bought one and absolutely love using it for fishing in the bays. If you rent a houseboat, here's the most important thing I would say. That's the most important thing to me. Make sure you get one with a toilet, with a bathroom. Believe it or not, there are some that I saw that did not have it. They said just go on the mainland. Oh, that was not for me. So that would be my best advice. Now, when you go ashore, there are plenty of restaurants to eat at. I went to this pizza place and there was an iguana walking across the parking lot. I thought that was so cool. It was just exotic to me. There are grocery stores ever so often. It was pretty busy. It was packed, really, because the island is really small. And the food wasn't super expensive, but it was a little more expensive. So I would say bring everything you want because you're going to an island. So buying anything when you get there is a lot more expensive than if you brought it with you. And there are so many things I'm sure I've forgotten or just left out to say about how many things are just so beautiful and amazing at this place. Go to the Keys. You don't have to go to Islamorada. I went because it had the reputation of being the best fishing. The fishing was incredible, but it also had the best choice of a boat. It had all the things on it that I wanted. I would say definitely get an Airbnb houseboat. You'll love it.